Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Warren E. Buffett. Noddy Hodder's Retirement Fund. In 1967, a young musician and songwriter by the name of Neville John Hodder wrote a song called Buy Me a Rocking Chair for his band, the In-Betweens. It was based on the popular flower power trend of the time, Sgt. Pepper, Bob Dylan, etc., with the chorus, Buy me a rocking chair to watch the world go by. Buy me a looking glass, I'll look you in the eye. Unimpressed, Neville discarded the song along with the flower power influences and instead found a passion for a new genre of music that would come to embrace the early 1970s, glam rock. Neville John Hodder became Noddy Hodder, and the In-Betweens became Slade. By 1973, Slade were one of the most popular bands in Britain, having achieved 2 number-1 singles in 3 months. In the boiling hot summer of that year, Slade's manager Chas Chandler suggested the band release a Christmas song. The lads were initially against the idea, until bassist Jim Lee remembered Noddy's discarded Buy Me a Rocking Chair. After an evening's hard drinking with the band, Noddy worked through the night at his mother's house in Warsaw, amending the lyrics and tweaking the melody. Buy Me a Rocking Chair to watch the world go by became So Here It Is, Merry Christmas, Everybody's Having Fun, while Buy Me a Looking Glass, I'll Look You in the Eye was tweaked to Look to the Future Now, It's Only Just Begun. Merry Christmas Everybody was recorded in a boiling hot New York studio in August 1973 and became the official UK Christmas #1 that year, selling 500,000 copies in the first week and more than 1 million overall, remaining in the charts until February 1974. It would turn out to be the last #1 single Slade would have. But the story doesn't end there. As I write this, 48 years have passed since Noddy Hodder pulled a drunken all-nighter at his mum's house. Almost 5 decades since he first yelled, "It's Christmas!" when it very much wasn't. Nearly 50 years on from creating a 3-minute, 26-second song most people wouldn't want to listen to for 90% of the year. Merry Christmas, everybody re-enters the top 40 every year. You'll hear it at any shopping centre from early October. It's often the most streamed song on Spotify each December. No self-respecting Christmas compilation album would be complete without it. It's been covered hundreds of times by artists such as Oasis, Girls Aloud and Robbie Williams, with Hodder receiving the royalties. In 2009, PRS for Music announced that 42% of the world's population has listened to the song. Merry Christmas, Everybody is Noddy Hodder's pension fund, earning him an estimated £500,000 a year in royalties. $500,000 a year, every year, for 5 decades, based on one night's work, writing a 3.5-minute tune, and a day pretending it's December in a sweaty New York studio in the height of summer. Noddy Hodder did the work once and reaped the rewards again and again and again. He created an evergreen asset. Look to the future now. It's only just begun. Evergreen assets are an ecosystem of content-led resources that you can repeatedly deploy to create a content marketing machine, with dozens of individual assets interacting with each other and all contributing towards the machine that is your business. There are 6 evergreen asset classes. They are lead assets, nurture assets, sales assets, fulfillment assets, admin assets, and viral assets. Each of these 6 has its own section in the book, so you can learn about them in depth and see how they fit into your machine. There are also examples of specific assets you can create. To make things simple and to ensure you maximize your return on investment, there is a detailed one asset to rule them all in each asset class. As you may have guessed, this is the one you should prioritize above all others in that class. If you do nothing more than build and integrate these 6 cogs into your machine, you're going to experience exponential growth far above the energy expended, thanks to the power of compounding. The 6 Evergreen Assets asset classes build upon one another, holding your client's hands through the entire customer journey, generating leads, nurturing the client relationship, making the sale, fulfilling the sale, ensuring everything runs like clockwork, and finally, turning one customer into more than one. They are the world's largest merry-go-round. Deer Shelter Rock in rural Wisconsin is home to the world's largest merry-go-round. It features 269 animals, none of which are horses, 182 chandeliers, hundreds of mannequin angels hanging from the ceiling, and more than 20,000 lights. It requires a lot of energy to get a machine like that moving, but considerably less to keep it moving. Merry-go-rounds are built that way. With the rails greased and resistance minimized, the amazing feat of engineering kicks in so that once you have some forward momentum, it is harnessed to maximize and maintain forward progress using the least amount of external energy. Without some external energy, an electric generator or a big bloke from Wisconsin giving it a shove, it will eventually grind to a halt, but not immediately. The more momentum built, the more rotations the merry-go-round will complete before slowing and stopping. Your Evergreen Assets ecosystem is just like the world's largest merry-go-round, giving you that elusive missing ingredient from your marketing mix: momentum. Sure, you'll need to work hard to get those Evergreen Assets moving. But once the ecosystem is up and running, with plenty of momentum behind it, you can take your hands off the ride and just give it a little push every now and then and get it back up to speed. Evergreen Assets are almost do it once and reap the rewards forever pieces of the machine that is your business. Almost, but not quite. After all, if you give the world's largest merry-go-round a really big push, build up a lot of momentum, and let go, never applying any energy whatsoever to it again, then your merry-go-round will eventually crawl to a stop. Creating your Evergreen Assets ecosystem is not a one-and-done job. Sure, most of the hard work is front-loaded. You'll do most of the heavy lifting in creating that ecosystem in the first place, building new assets and integrating them into your machine. Then, once you've got some momentum, you can step back and do other things like running your business rather than creating content to generate business. But you'll keep an eye on the merry-go-round to notice when it's starting to slow. And when it does, you'll apply some external energy, either in the form of 2 hands and a great big shove, or in the form of a permanent power source. Eventually, you'll relish every opportunity to grease the wheels, reduce friction and resistance, and replace old, worn parts with shiny new ones. You'll try new things with a curious mindset of better or worse. There are only 3 ways to grow a business. Number 1, get more clients. Number 2, get each client to spend more. And number 3, get each client to buy more often. Getting more clients is the sledgehammer that always cracks the walnut. And it's why I've made marketing the number 1 activity in every one of my businesses for the last 2 decades. But once you've got that forward momentum of regular clients coming in, and of course your Evergreen Assets will be the system that routinely ensures that happens, you can start to add some smaller cogs to the machine to tweak some of the finer points to your merry-go-round. Because clients flow all the way through your machine, every cog and gear that you can optimize and improve will compound on all the other cogs in the machine. For example, let's say you currently have 800 customers who each buy a £100 product from you twice a year. 800 multiplied by £100 multiplied by 2 equals £160,000. Now, let's see what happens when we improve all 3 cogs: the number of clients, the amount they spend, and how often they buy by just 15%. We now have 920 customers spending £115 2.3 times per year on average. That's 920 multiplied by 115 multiplied by 2.3. £243,340. We've improved the output of our machine by 52.1% for a mere 15% effort. By now you're probably thinking, that sounds great, John, but I don't have a clue how to get a 1% improvement, let alone 15. Don't worry. While there are only 3 ways to grow your business, more clients, more spend, more frequency, there are hundreds of ways that you can impact each of these 3 cogs. And you will learn dozens of them throughout this book. You'll see how I achieved a 48% increase in clients by changing a few words on a web page. You'll hear how removing some ads increased my sales by 16%. And you'll learn how reducing prices led to a 31% increase in customer spend and a 58% increase in the frequency of purchase. And if those numbers seem scary and impossible right now, I'll show you how making just a single 1% improvement every week can deliver a 68% uplift to your machine. They are part of a machine, and you're the engineer. Ray Dalio is one of the world's most successful investors, with a current portfolio of more than £110 billion. That's $154 billion. More than 1,500 employees, and a well-established 30-year-plus track record of market-annihilating returns. In his 2017 book Principles, Dalio lays bare how he's achieved those results, how he thinks, how he acts, why he does what he does, and exactly how to replicate his thought process. Dalio has made Principles required reading for every person in his company, and you can understand why. He wants every one of the 1,500 members of his team to think the same way he would, to reach the same decisions using the same frameworks. It's the next best thing to cloning himself 1,500 times over. One of the first principles that Dalio shares is that everything is a machine. The structure and evolution of galaxies, the formation of our own solar system, the makeup of Earth's geography and ecosystems, our economies and markets, and each of us, we individually are machines made up of different machines. Our circulatory system, our nervous system that produces our thoughts, our dreams, our emotions. All of these different machines evolve together through time to produce the realities we encounter every day. Everything is a machine. You are a machine. Your business is a machine. Your Evergreen Assets ecosystem is a machine. If everything is a machine, isn't it about time you treated the machine like a machine? Stuck your head under the bonnet once in a while, figured out how the machine works and how you can make the machine work better. The Evergreen Assets ecosystem is a content marketing machine with dozens of individual assets interacting with each other and all contributing towards the machine that is your business. If you're going to play around with the machine, you need to put on your engineer hat and visualize how it works, being able to see all the cogs, gears, and other moving parts in your head. This will allow you to understand how when one cog turns, making a sale, it causes others to move, onboarding, fulfillment, and billing. Where you have problems in your business, it's usually caused by an inefficiency in the machine somewhere. Time to call the engineer. That's you, by the way. You will become head engineer, the expert in your business machine. Think of this book as the Haynes manual for your business. You'll be able to confidently take the machine apart and replace all the worn-out parts with shiny new titanium steel. You'll grease the wheels and get everything running faster, smoother, quieter, and more effectively, which will mean less stress for you and a better customer journey for your clients. They are a direct debit into the bank of goodwill. Evergreen Assets is not a numbers game. It's a relationships game. You're going to hear that a lot throughout this book. We're all familiar with bank accounts. Your income gets paid into one and your bills come out. Hopefully, there's some money left at the end of the month rather than some month left at the end of the money. We know the pitfalls of going into the red. Overdraft fees, £25 letters from the bank, and transaction declined at the checkout. Your relationship with your prospects and clients also has a bank account, a goodwill bank account. Every time you give value, you make a deposit into the goodwill bank account. Every time you try and flog people something, you make a withdrawal. Actively listen to someone, make a deposit. Brag about your new car, withdrawal. Send a handwritten card or a small gift, big deposit. Send a 9-email sales campaign, big withdrawal. With the Goodwill bank account, you can only draw out what you've put in. There's no overdraft facility, no extended credit, no payday loan. If your Goodwill bank balance is low and you send that 9-email sales campaign, you're not going to sell many, or indeed any. Send that same campaign when your Goodwill bank balance is high and you can afford that withdrawal, not a problem. Most businesses don't have a sales problem. They simply have a lack of available funds in their Goodwill bank account. Evergreen Assets act like a reverse direct debit, automatically making deposits into your Goodwill bank account so that when you want to make a withdrawal, there's plenty of funds available to you. Evergreen Assets do the hard work, which makes the selling easy. You can take that to the bank. They are the minimum effective dose. To boil water, you need to heat it to 100 degrees Celsius. Heating it further doesn't make it more boiled. Boiled is boiled. Heating water to 150 degrees just wastes energy, achieving the same result. In pharmacology, the minimum effective dose is the amount of a drug that produces a biological response. Any less than the minimum effective dose, and it won't be effective. But as you increase the dosage above the MED, you achieve ever-diminishing returns on your investment. Twice the MED is not twice as effective. You'll design your Evergreen Assets to hit the minimum effective dose to deliver a great return on investment, ROI, and to maximize your investment of time, money, energy, and resources. For some assets, you'll keep building well beyond the MED. But as you do so, you'll be aware of the ever-diminishing ROI that you'll see as you keep building and growing that asset, eventually choosing to achieve a better ROI by diverting your attention towards bringing a different asset up to the MED standard. From not boiled to boiled, from off to on, from not effective to effective. First and foremost, we want to design a diverse ecosystem containing a wide range of effective assets, all working together and compounding on one another to deliver a fantastic ROI. Bringing each asset up to the minimum effective dose standard is more effective than boiling water to 300 degrees Celsius. Keeping it simple. If you're worried that all this talk of ecosystems, cogs, machines, engineering and physics sounds scary, then please don't panic. Your guide and teacher for this topic is me, a normal bloke from Plymouth. I've got a GCSE in physics, but I haven't studied it since 1994. I know nothing about machines, engineering, or anything technical. The toolkit in my garage consists of a hammer, some duct tape, and a can of WD-40. I like to keep things simple. That way I can understand them too. There are 6 evergreen asset classes which form the structure of the rest of this book. All 6 asset classes have the same theme running throughout them, and each evergreen asset you create will serve one of these 3 objectives. Number 1, find out what they want. Number 2, give them what they want. And number 3, make damn sure they've got what they want. That's it. Easy, eh? Easy to say, much harder to do. After all, if it were that easy, everyone would be doing it, and there'd be no need for me to be writing this book or for you to be listening to it, would there? Where most business owners go wrong with their content marketing is that it tends to be missing the mark on one of these three simple objectives. Find out what they want. It's not what you want to create, not what some Silicon Valley algorithm wants, or what some guru told you is what's working right now. It's what your customers want. As Walmart tycoon Sam Walton said, there is only one boss, the customer. And he can fire everybody in the company, from the chairman on down, simply by spending his money elsewhere. Give them what they want. I've gone wrong here myself many times. I've created a product that I love, of which I'm really proud, and that my heart and soul has been poured into. But it wasn't what my customers wanted, so only one man and his dog bought it, and the dog was nonplussed. Likewise, if you ordered a pepperoni pizza and received a ham and pineapple one, you'd be none too happy. Yet that's the experience many business owners give their customers, delivering amazing ham and pineapple pizzas to people who would rather have pepperoni. Make damn sure they've got what they want. Let's stay in the pizza restaurant for a moment. You've taken the customer's order, find out what they want. You've asked the chef to cook it and the front of house staff to deliver it. Give them what they want. So, with hundreds of orders flying in and out of the kitchen throughout a busy lunchtime service, what does the front of house team need to go and ask the customer? Is everything okay with your meal? Do you have everything you need? Can I get you anything else? In other words, make damn sure they've got what they want. Make sure no one is sitting there moaning quietly in that oh-so-British way about how they don't like pineapple, but they'd rather pick the segments off than complain. It's okay, we won't cause a scene by letting the waiter know our order got mixed up. We'll simply leave them a negative review on TripAdvisor, tell all our friends how bad it was, and vow never to come here again. This is why it's so important to make damn sure they're getting what they want. Because happy and fulfilled customers don't leave, they don't cancel, and don't ask for a refund. They just keep throwing money your way, leaving you positive reviews, and sending you referrals of more people just like them. Find out what they want. Give them what they want. Make damn sure they've got what they want. Each evergreen asset you create will tick at least one of those three boxes. I'll tell you what they're not. Picture the scene. It's 8 a.m. on a grey, damp Sunday morning, and you're in the function room of a Holiday Inn Express somewhere on the M25 near Heathrow Airport. You're about to watch some guru or expert, please note my incredibly heavy use of quotation marks there, perform a magic trick that convinces you that they have the answer to your greatest problem. However, in reality, neither your problem nor their solution exists. Like any magician, they make great use of smoke and mirrors. In their mind, they are selling from the stage. But they tell you they're just delivering a free training course, a courtesy seminar, a gratis workshop, all from the kindness of their heart to help you. The topic of this free session is what's working right now. It doesn't matter if you're there to learn about property investing, LinkedIn ads, Forex trading, email marketing, or weight loss. The magic trick follows the same formula. Now, I'm not a member of the Personal Development Magic Circle, so I'm free to tell you how this works. First of all, you need your audience to believe that you're just like them, or at least you were, before you stumbled on this amazing secret that you're going to share with them today. Next, you need to justify their fears. It's likely they're going to be skeptical and think to themselves, I've tried something like this before, and it didn't work. How do you do that? You tell them that it's not their fault. They may have been using an outdated framework, something that may have worked for some people in the past, but it's not what's working right now. The reason they're failing is because they haven't heard about this new thing. At this point, you should talk about what successful people do and what sets them apart from the failures. You should spend at least a few minutes talking about how painful it is to fail, to be overweight, to be poor, to be a bad parent, etc. Tug on those heartstrings now. It will loosen the purse strings later. By now, your audience should be sufficiently distracted by the smoke and mirrors of all the pain they're in, pain they were largely unaware of and unconcerned by a mere 20 minutes ago, and it's time for you to pull the rabbit out of the hat. And so you unveil what's working right now. You now start teaching the new thing. I wish there were a separate set of quotation marks for such heavy sarcasm, but there aren't, so let me make this abundantly clear. There is no new thing, and you're not actually going to teach anything. All you're going to do is give a very brief overview of the model or framework you use. Our students log into the portal and the software tells them with a few clicks whether to buy or sell, says one Forex trader selling from the stage. Our workshops use these brand new 10-point techniques to turn anyone into a world-class public speaker, promises the public speaking coach. After this teaching session, which may contain as much as 10 minutes of useful information in a 90-minute presentation, you roll out some unbelievably vague case studies as social proof. John from Plymouth was sitting where you are this time last year. He attended my course, learnt the new thing that's working right now, and now he's a gazillionaire. Your case studies should reveal nothing at all about how to do what's working right now, but merely reinforce the idea that your audience must do what's working right now if they want to succeed. What's the reason they're failing? Because they're not doing what's working right now. That's the magic trick in a nutshell. However, now it's time for the magic wand, your £5,997 course. But the first 50 people who run to the back of the room right now and pay in full can get it for just $1,997 plus VAT. Get a few stooges to start the stampede immediately, and abracadabra, you're up and running. Or rather, your audience is. Take your applause and count your money. It makes me vomit in my mouth a little every time I see one of these pitches. Evergreen Assets are not what's working right now. If your marketing strategy relies on what's working right now, then you end up in a vicious circle of constantly chasing shiny new objects, having to learn all the new platforms, hacks, and models. And when someone offers to show you what's working right now, in exchange for spending your Sunday morning at a Holiday Inn Express, drinking shit coffee and watching Redding's answer to Tony Robbins stumble through his thinly veiled sales pitch, you find yourself hunting for shiny objects to chase. Evergreen Assets are about creating an ecosystem of content-led resources you can deploy again and again. Sure, you may need to update some of the pieces as the world evolves, but as head engineer of your merry-go-round, you'll know that each time you update an asset, you'll be leveraging all the other assets too and compounding every gain you make. The rising tide lifts all ships. I recently picked up a copy of Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got by Jay Abraham. My copy is well thumbed, covered in notes and scribbles, with massive sections highlighted and entire chapters copied and sent to my team to implement in my Evergreen Assets ecosystem. But then I came to the chapter about the internet. Not a single highlight. No scribbles. Nothing to ask the team to implement. I've been running businesses on the net for more than 2 decades now. So I found it puzzling to read a book that said the internet is still finding its legs and that 50% of online businesses fail. It all seemed a little outdated and certainly wasn't what's working right now. At one point, Jay listed the top 8 search engines: Lycos, Alta Vista, Hotbot, Northern Light, Excite, InfoSeek, Webcrawler, and Yahoo. Now, I've only heard of half of these brands. Most of them aren't even around anymore. Looks like Jay's 50% of online businesses fail prediction wasn't far off. And of course, where's the £800 gorilla in the room? Why no mention of Google, which owns 92% of the search market? I found my answer in the copyright notice at the start of the book. Getting everything you can out of all you've got. Copyright 2000 by J. Abraham. 2000? The year of the Millennium Dome and Y2K bug fears. The year Wembley Stadium lost its twin towers. Big Brother started, and Madonna married Guy Ritchie. Back then, Britney Spears hadn't yet shaved her head, Oasis was still together, and not a single Harry Potter movie had been made. And nobody had heard of Google. Until I reached page 287, I didn't have any idea that I was reading a book that was more than 20 years old. Now that's an evergreen asset. Never mind what's working right now. Evergreen assets are what's still going to be working 2 decades from now. So, what is going to be working 2 decades from now? I would ask Jeeves, but I can't seem to find him.